Okay, so creating static routes for a network even as small as this one is fairly challenging, but it doesn't really, we don't really have to use static routes. We have dynamic routing protocols. So dynamic routing protocols, we have interior gateway protocols, which is what we use for our enterprise networks. And then the internet uses a protocol called border gateway protocol, which is an exterior gateway routing protocol. So there's a number of different interior gateway routing protocols. We have RIP is the first one that you'll learn. It's Routing Information Protocol. It is an old protocol. It is an open standard, so that's good. But it's not a very good protocol. But it is the easiest one to configure, and that's the one that you will always learn on first. So we're going to do a RIP configuration here. So I'm going to go on the Fremont, California internal router here, and we'll do an enable and do a show run here. And we're going to look at the number of interfaces that we have configured. So we have FA0/0 that is configured at 64.1, and then we have Ethernet 1.0 that's configured at 58.1. So we're going to go into global configuration mode. So we'll do config T. We'll use the router RIP, and we're going to use version 2. If you don't specify version 2, then it will be version 1. And we're going to put the networks that are participating in RIP on this particular router. So we have the 170.32.58.0 network, and we have the 64 network. So those are the two networks that are directly connected to this router, and it's going to advertise those out to all the other routers. So if you're looking for 64 anything or 58 anything, and this is where we use those network numbers that we used in the when we were doing subnetting, we had to create network numbers. This is where we use them. Go into each router on the topology, and we're going to put in the network numbers that are needed. I'm also going to do a do copy run start to make sure that I save this before I leave this machine. So then I'm going to come up here, and again we're going to enable. I'm going to go ahead and do config T, and then I'm going to do show run here to see which interfaces we have configured. So we're 64. We can advertise that we can get to the 64. We can advertise that we can get to the 56 network. So those are the two networks that this router is connected to. So we'll do router RIP version 2, and you do need to be sure that you put version 2 on all of the networks. So we got 170.32.56.0 that we're participating in, and then the other one is 64.0. So we're going to save this one as well. Now I'm going to go ahead and configure all the rest of these, and then I'll meet you back here in just a minute. Okay, so I've configured router RIP, I think, on all of the machines in this network. I'm not totally sure that I've gotten every one of them. But we can do something like come down to this particular router here, and I'm going to do a show run here to determine what interfaces are on here. So 114.1 is one that's on here, and let's see if we can actually get to that one. Okay, so I can get to that one. I actually just checked 24.1, and 24.1 is sort of the far router up here. So, you know, I've got connectivity all the way through. Now, what you will want to do is you're going to want to make a checklist of all of the different devices that you are going to need to ping, you know, from this particular router. When we're looking at routers, we can ping from one direction, and we can be relatively certain that we should be able to get the opposite direction. Can't always assume that in terms of servers, because with servers we do have firewalls that, you know, we can ping one direction and then not be able to ping the other direction because we have a firewall turned on. So in this scenario, you need to look at your list of all of the different IP addresses that you need to hit. Be sure that you can ping all of the routers that are on this topology. We'll see you next time.